reverse this.
And then there you go.
Hi, my name is Hannah Perez, and today I'm going to be talking about Japan. Have you ever wanted to visit a country? Well, we all know that Japan is vastly different than ours. It's a very interesting place to me, and they have a lot of different aspects that we don't have here. So today I'll share a little bit about that. I myself have always been interested in Japan, and I have done a lot of research on my free time. I will first tell you a bit of basic information about Japan, and then I'll go more in depth, and lastly, I'll tell you about how old customs are changing. Let me start about giving some insight about Japan's backroads. So, according to Hofstede Insights, Japan is a country that is influenced by masculinity, meaning that it's driven by competition, success, and achievement. Japan is heavily male-dominated, so you rarely ever see males opening a door for a woman. You also, whenever you are in a restaurant, males will be served first purposely. Men and families are expected to bring home the money for the family, and often they leave earlier than the kids will wake. So the kids will be awake and they won't see their dad all day. They'll be at school, and then often the dad will come home very late. And many Japanese people have not a good relationship with their fathers because of this. But that said, Japan is a collectivistic culture, meaning there's little to none individualism. So now that I've touched a little bit of Japan, let's go a little bit more in depth. With a vast population of 126 million, Japan is a group-oriented society, meaning they rather focus on others than themselves. And this goes to the extent of focusing on their extended family, community, and even the organization they work for. According to Culturegram's World Edition online database, Buddhism is one of the major religions practiced there. And Buddhism focuses on honor, courage, politeness, and reserve, which is heavily illustrated in their societal standards. Along with that, many focus on remaining the same. They practice harmony. This goes into the extent of looking down on others who may look different. And this may, so anybody who seems rebellious is looked down upon. For example, people with tattoos are required to cover them up, and they aren't allowed in public bathhouses, which is their main form of bathing down there. Now that you have a little bit of an idea of how reserved Japan is, let me tell you a bit about how the times are changing. So, even though Japan adheres to strict rules, unwritten rules of comportment, it is a culture of courtesy and public reserve. Many people are deciding now that that isn't a way of life for them. As described by the author John Branch in his article, Japan Skateboarders Roll Wearingly Out of the Shadows. Anything seemingly different or rebellious is associated with crime, such as tattoos, piercings, and even skateboarders. Slowly but surely, Japan's view of others is changing, but that's because it's heavily influenced by America. Despite all the signs prohibiting skateboarding, many people still do it regardless. So, we've covered a lot of information on Japan. We first touched on basic information, then went in depth, and lastly talked about how old ways are changing. But my ending mark, before visiting any country, one should first visit a website and research about the culture there. Thank you. Audience number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Yeah.